Now, this is the last video of the chapter in which we will focus on state of human capital formation in India. And in this chapter, our main focus is going to be on education sector. Firstly, we all know that India is a federal country. Now, the question that arises here is which agency of government is responsible for incurring expenditure on education and health in India? The answer is all the three levels of government, that is central, state and local, are responsible for incurring expenditure on health and education in India. Next question. Is only government responsible for incurring expenditure on health and education? No, we have both private as well as public institutions. But government intervention is very necessary in both health and education market because majority of people in India are poor. They cannot afford even basic health and education services. Along with this, government intervention is necessary to avoid monopoly of private players. There are different agencies of government that look after education and health in India. Coming to education, we have Ministry of Education, followed by Department of Education and specialized agencies like NCERT, UGC and AICTE. For health, again we have Ministry of Health, Department of Health and specialized agency ICMR. Now coming to the education sector in India. The first thing that we should know is how can we measure expenditure incurred by government on education. This expenditure incurred by government is expressed in two ways. Firstly, it is expressed as a total percentage of total expenditure of government. That is, if this is the total expenditure incurred by the government, then this portion represents the education expenditure. Also, education expenditure is expressed as a percentage of total GDP. If this is total GDP, then this section expresses the education expenditure incurred as a percentage of GDP by Government of India. Trend shows that both education expenditure as a percentage of total expenditure and as a percentage of GDP has increased in India. But this increase has not been uniform. Along with this, there are interstate disparities in the expenditure incurred on education in Indian economy. Along with interstate disparities, it can be seen that the share of elementary education is more as compared to higher education. Thus, there are many problems associated with education sector in India. Even if we compare the expenditure incurred in Indian economy with different recommendations made by different committees, it can be seen that we are just incurring 4% of expenditure on education, which is very low and it should be around 6%. Government is also taking some other steps such as levying 2% education cess. Along with this, government is also working on promoting higher and technical education in India. Though data shows that education attainment has increased in India, but still there are certain problems. That is, we have not yet achieved the dream of 100% literacy. Gender equality is still not there in the education sector. And again, we have a pyramid type of structure for the education sector in which takers are more at the elementary level and number of takers increase as we move up. Thus, we need to take care of education sector in India in order to achieve a high growth rate.